lovely people, it's Candy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I could bring you a birthday tarot haul video. I just really wanted to share with you some of the beautiful decks that I received for my birthday or that I bought myself. So the ones that I have received you've already seen in a previous video, so I've been having great fun with them. So this was some of the lovely holiday, as were all these wonderful crystals. So I've received the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. Now all of these decks I will be doing some more in-depth reactions to, but I just wanted to share my just my initial response to these new decks. This one, oh my goodness me, I love it. I love the Wild Unknown Tarot. I have that in my collection. That was the first tarot deck I ever really got. And I say really because I'm going to share something in this video as well, which means it wasn't really the first deck I got, but it kind of was. I know that doesn't make sense yet, but I love Kim Kranz's work. I love it in the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I love this deck too. And then another gorgeous deck from Holiday was the Light Seers Tarot. Now I have Chris Ann's Muse Tarot, and like I said, I often struggle to use the Muse Tarot simply because of the card stock. It's really thick, it's really hard to shuffle, and I drop the deck a lot. This deck, which Holly had already edged in black, which I love, is different card stock. And I love it. I've heard so many people say that this deck is what they would class as their soul deck. And although I have always adored the images of this deck and knew that it was on my wish list, I was actually waiting for the next print one to be released, and it was going to be one that I would attempt to get next year. I knew I wanted it, but I didn't necessarily know I would have the reaction to it that I'm having, which is, I love it. I love it. And to actually get this deck in your hands and to start working with it, it is quite spectacular. I can see now why so many people completely adore this deck. It's just wonderful. So those two decks were both gifts from the lovely Holly D, and I will link her Instagram down below again. Also a gift to myself, but also from Holly, which you saw in my last video, is her Mandala Cards deck. So larimartide.co.uk is her website, which I think she's in the process of putting together a website at the moment. These are little mandala cards with keywords on, which I think are gorgeous. So this is another quick look at Holly's deck. Now these I'm going to use, like I said, for helping me with meditation, and for scrying with. And the deck comes with its own little stand and a crystal. I know that all the crystals are different, so it wouldn't necessarily mean you would get this crystal. And it all comes in a gorgeous little box. Okay, and then the next deck is an oracle deck, and it is the Creativity Oracle by Amy Zerner and Monte Faber. Now I have the Tarot of Enchantment, which I love. I have the 25th anniversary edition with the big cards, but I'd seen this oracle on Evie's channel, which I will link below, and absolutely loved it. So I decided that I would treat myself to this oracle deck. Now, Amy's work is textile based, and it's what she does is she photographs her embroideries. So these are one side of the cards, and then on the other side of the cards you've got a some text. It's gold edged, cards are numbered. These are slightly out of order because I've been pulling cards for Tilly with it because she loves it. But you can see there's a lot here in these cards that you could work with intuitively, or with the message, and to layer it. I like oracles that do this. I like oracles that have enough on them to work with them without running back to the book. I like oracles with keywords, but I also like oracles that have enough going on in the imagery to really be able to pull out of it some intuitive hits and meanings, and I think this deck does that. So the creativity oracle was another treat to myself, so that was my oracle treat. Then a study treat. I am really keen, which I've mentioned before on this channel, to start learning a little bit more about sacred geometry. It links with my art practice and my love of patterns and shapes for symbolism within art. So I started looking for a book to treat myself to, but instead I ended up treating myself to Francine Hart's Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. So again, this is kind of another oracle deck. It has a slide out drawer, and it comes with its own book. So this was my first study hit for sacred geometry. It's a two-part box, which is a bit of a pain. The cards have some of the nicest backs that I have ever seen on cards. Look at those backs, aren't they stunning? And the cards kind of look like this. Now, I did cheat just before my birthday, and in a meditation the Morrigan came in and told me to pull a card from this deck, and because I don't like to annoy the Morrigan, I did open this deck and just pulled one card without looking at the rest of the deck because I didn't want to spoil it for my birthday. And that's been on my goddess altar to meditate with, which has been really interesting. But you can see that this is a really, really interesting deck. So that was my sacred geometry deck that I bought myself. The next deck, which is one that I have wanted ever since I saw it on the YouTube channel Saturnarium. I think I've pronounced that right. I'll link it below. She's so wonderful over there. So go and check out that channel if you haven't already. Is the Barbara Walker tarot. Now, I got the little mini tarot. Well, it's not really a mini, but it's a slightly smaller version, which comes in a tin, because I've been looking for a tarot just to carry with me in my bag. And this one, oh my gosh, this tarot I love. While I've been on the school run since my birthday, I've been spending time flicking through this. It comes with quite a decent little white book. Now, it's the minors in this deck that absolutely sold me on it. I mean, this Six of Cups and childhood, with the childhood towering over like a threat. I think it's this card that I would think I would have bought the deck just purely for that card. It's slightly different. There are slightly different takes or angles to come at some of the meanings with this deck, I'm finding. There are keywords that sometimes give you a really different slant on the typical meaning, like this, the Ten of Cups, salvation. You know, it's, yes, you can see how it fits with what we would normally assume that the Ten of Cups is, but salvation, it's a slightly different angle to come at it. And then the court cards are mythological figures. So this is going to be another rabbit hole for me to fall down, trying to work out the stories and the associations with these court cards. But to say that I'm excited to have this deck is an understatement. The backs look like that. The cardstock is a really slippy, almost like a rose petally feel. It's gorgeous cardstock. And I am absolutely thrilled to have this little tarot in a tin in my possession. So that was another birthday treat to myself. Okay, this next one is a funny one. Now, I said earlier about the Wild Unknown, although it was my first tarot, it wasn't really. When I was about, I would say 10, so we're going back 42 years now, one of my dad's best friends and his wife used to often come and stay at our house. And in the end, they put their caravan, their static caravan in our garden, and we used to spend holidays at our house. And him and his wife gave me this weird little box of cards and a book that was all joined together. And I said, here you go, we think you might like this because you're quite arty and you're that way inclined. And I can remember opening it up thinking, what on earth is this? And looking at the cards and thinking, I've no idea what this is, but I suppose I could cut the imagery up for my artwork, which I did. It was only much later that I realised they'd actually given me a tarot deck and I'd cut it up. And with my new love of tarot, I keep thinking about that and it's played on my mind and plagued me. And I thought I need to re-find that deck and try and remember what the deck was and to get it back into my collection. Almost as a way of excusing my behaviour. So I went on eBay and started scrolling through and I found it. And it's this deck, Harmony Angel Cards. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I clicked on it and thought, that's it, that's the deck. And it's one of those where the book is joined to the box. It's actually a fantastic guidebook in full colour. The cards are in here. And there is another story with this deck. But I want to do a proper walkthrough and a reaction to using this deck. And we'll tell you the full story. But I literally found this deck for like a couple of pounds on eBay, and I've been so excited. This was, out of all of these decks I treated myself to my birthday, probably the one that I was most excited to bring to receive in the post and to bring back into my collection. You can see it's vibrant as anything. It's like a crazy disco diva, trippy, crazy deck, and I love it so much for that. I mean, look at these cards, they're crazy. I can't wait to read the guidebook. I mean, look at these and work out what on earth is going on with these. You've got the Tree of Life in there, but this is Trippy City, and I feel at peace now. There was a part of me that was seriously not at peace, having realised what I'd done to a tarot deck in the past. So that's my Harmony Angel cards, which is a replacement of what it was really my very first tarot deck. Back in my collection, which I'm really pleased about. So that's all the decks, apart from the big expensive one that I bought. I did say that I had decided to treat myself to my very first bought indie tarot deck. So I looked through, and to be honest, there was only ever going to be one contender for which one I would get. And it's one that I just knew I would forever be sad if it goes out of print and I don't own it. And that's the Luminous Void Tarot. Now this comes in two sizes. I got the smaller size because I only have tiny little hands. Oh my gosh. And can I just say, the cardstock is like nothing I've ever felt before. People who have got this deck can tell me, is this rose petal cardstock? Because it's like velvet. It's like smooth velvet. And I bought this deck because I love the artwork. You can see it's slightly out of order. I'm going to do a proper walkthrough of this deck, but not in this video. I just love the kind of haunted watercolor, loose watercolor energy within this deck. Every image that I've seen with people using this deck online, I've literally been flabbergasted at, and it didn't disappoint. Look at that Judgment card. Everything that I've every time I've flicked through this deck since I received it and opened it on my birthday, every time I flick through I just think, oh wow. So that is the tarot deck, the indie tarot deck that I treated myself to, with these glorious backs and this unusual shape. I feel like the luckiest person alive when I get this deck out and hold it. I literally feel like royalty because it is such a huge treat. It comes with a little white book, but I am going to be doing walkthroughs of all of these. So there we go, guys. That's my amazing gifted, either to myself or from other people. That's my amazing tarot haul stash for my 52nd birthday. Some art supplies from friends as well as some amazing books and some beautiful plants and some ornaments, some things for the altar as well. So that's how lucky I am. Look, I can't even fit them all on. I've got so many. Wow, look at that gorgeous pile. All of these here make my heart sing. Thank you again for all of the amazing messages and well wishes, for the gifts. I literally have been blown away by how many people have commented and wished me happy birthday, how gorgeous the words that have been sent to me are. It just means such a lot. I really am blown away, guys. If it's your birthday coming up and you are in the same position as me, where there is a huge risk that you might be giftless, then please value yourself enough to get your own gifts. It breaks my heart that somebody else might feel unimportant on their birthday, and you know, we should all have people looking out for us and loving us and wanting to make us smile, as well as being the people that value ourselves enough to make ourselves smile. So thank you guys for all the love and support, and I hope you enjoyed just a quick sharing of these decks as my birthday tarot haul. I'll see you next time. Bye.